Okay, so take two. I basically filmed I just need to sit up straight, I guess is what I need to do. So basically I filmed this video already on that camera, but it's like my dad's really fancy camera and I don't know how to use it, so I'm gonna do it again. But basically I wanted to talk about Black Lives Matter and all what's going on right now in the world. And as a biracial girl, I am half black, half white. I do face difficulties because of my skin color. Point blank, that's just what happens. And obviously I don't face the same discrimination as a dark-skinned woman, but I still do get discriminated against, and I will never know how it feels to be a dark-skinned woman and go through America. But I kind of wanted to talk about some things that have happened to me in my life, things that are happening right now regarding the whole situation. So Black Lives Matter kind of was created because of the disproportionate rates that our people were being killed due to police brutality. So right now there's a lot of protests going on, trying to defund the police, get justice for people who died in unlawful ways, and just kind of deconstruct this system that was not made for us and continuously fails us. But it's been really hard for me to go on Instagram lately because a lot of people are talking about this all the time and just like kind of doing performative activism, and that's when you talk about being an ally and posting about Black Lives Matter, police brutality, and like on your social medias, but you don't show up for those people in real life, which I feel like a lot of people are doing. So I kind of just have some things that I want to read to you guys. One of them is a tweet that I put on my Instagram story, but it's, I really want non-black people to understand that it's not enough to retweet and like post about Black Lives Matter and police brutality. Make sure you keep that same energy when it comes to talking to your parents and friends. Challenge the prejudice and anti-black remarks, which I 100% agree with. A lot of the times people say that they're allies but don't do that throughout their daily life. Like another example kind of relating to this is, you know, like when Pride comes around and then you see all of those girls treat it like a photo shoot and are like, yeah, like we love gay people, like blah, blah, blah. But those are the same girls and boys, I'm not saying they don't do it too, but who let their friends say the F slur. Like, it's the same thing. You're not really there for that community if you do that in your daily life. You're a fraud, you're fake. And that's the same thing that's going on now. Like, you see people treating these protests like a photo shoot, and they're the same people that have questionable opinions and choices in their daily life. Like, just the other day, I was scrolling on Instagram, which I don't like to do anymore, and I see this girl post, like, she literally just had a photo shoot on Capitol Hill with her little sign, and then I was sitting with my two friends, and I was like, wow, this is so cringe, should I comment that? And I ended up not commenting that because, like, I'm not gonna do that. But my friend, who I'm honestly very proud of for doing this, she DM'd her and was like, hey, you should think about who you posted this for and like what your message is really portraying, because honestly, right, like this girl is very wealthy and maybe she is an advocate for the community, but that doesn't look like it when you post stuff like that. And she ended up taking it down, which is really good. But some other things that I just wanted to talk about were people in real life not showing up for me and my community. Okay, so I live in Seattle and I go to school in Portland. And when I went to Portland, a lot more people that weren't black used the N-word, just like because they do that there, I guess. And I've always been someone to call people out on that, and not only just because I'm a black person, but because that's the right thing to do. I don't think that you should say it unless you're black, but also I don't say it myself that often. I only say it in like songs usually, but that's because the people claim to use it to reclaim the slur, but I don't really want to reclaim that slur. I think it's really offensive and brings back trauma, and I just was raised in a household where you weren't allowed to use that word. So I don't really go about my day using that word, but I will call you out if you use that word and you are not black. And I just remember we were leaving a party and we were standing at the elevator and this Asian guy says nigga, and I'm just like, excuse me, like, you can't say that, you are not black, blah blah blah. And then I'm with my 2 other roommates and I look at them for support to be like, yeah, like, you can't say that, like, why are you saying that? And they didn't say anything. Both of them didn't say anything. So immediately I felt worse about calling them out because it makes me feel like I'm crazy and that, like, that wasn't the right thing to do when it obviously was. And those are 2 people who would consider themselves allies, I think. But, like, they didn't even stand up for me there. And obviously I'm not mad at them about it now, but I'm just saying it's small things like that where you don't show up for black people in real life situations that make it look like performative activism. And that boy apologized. I didn't do it like, he doesn't do it all the time, but, like, obviously that's not true. And he was like, I'm drunk, blah blah blah, but, like, that's just not true. And then I wanted to talk about this graph, or it's like, I'll put it like right here, but basically it's on my phone. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. You'll see it over there, but it's like a pyramid, and it's overt white supremacy that's socially unacceptable, and then there's a line, and underneath it is covert white supremacy, which is socially acceptable. And okay, on the overt, which is not acceptable, it's things like the N-word, lynching, racist jokes, the KKK, swastikas, hate crime. And then for the socially acceptable, it's things like police brutality, tokenism, white savior complex, claiming reverse racism, which I had a friend who used to say that all the time to me, that I was being reverse racist, which is just not a real thing. And racial profiling, hiring discrimination, mass incarceration, fearing people of color, don't blame me, I never owned slaves is in there too, denial of white privilege, not challenging racist jokes. It's like a really good, I would pause it and like look at it, but that's true. Like, I know so many people that like tell me to get over jokes and like shake it off, like blah blah blah, but no, I don't think they're funny. They're racist. And I just saw a really good video the other day by this guy who makes YouTube videos, but he was saying how he is part of the problem because he let people make those racist jokes to him, which is all about complacency, which I totally want to talk about right now. Is I watched this really good video that my friends put on their Instagram story, and I think they know her, but I'm not sure. But she talked about complacency, of how like by not challenging those racist remarks or like talking to people about those things, you are being complacent with the oppressor, with the racism, and you're not changing and you're not helping anyone, which I've obviously taken part in. Like, sometimes I'm too scared to speak up, which I hate that I have to feel scared to speak up about what's right, but sometimes I just don't feel like I'm in a safe environment to do so. And sometimes it's also not people of color like responsibility to educate white people. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but if someone's taking the time to educate you, be appreciative, because they did not have to do that. They 100% did not have to do that. Just the other day, some random boy who was not educated tried to tell me that like my hair wasn't what I said it was. Like, he was like, oh, like, what type of hair is that? Like dreads? And I was like, no, like, they're twists. And he was like, so are they braids or dreads? Like, there's only two. And I was just like, whoa, like, I already tried to educate you on this, and then he like started yelling at me saying that I was being rude and like not, and I was just like, you didn't want to listen to me, so why would I take the time to try to educate you? You know, it's a privilege to let a person of color educate you on something. Remember that. And This other incident that happened not even less than a year ago when I came home from college is I went over to a friend's house and we were talking about like rap music or something, and then I said like I don't really like rap music that much, which is true. I don't really listen to that much rap music. Can't really relate to it that much, and it kind of annoys me that a lot of white people glorify the whole rap community and those people's struggles they sing about. But this boy was like, that's not true. You listen to Rihanna. And I'm just like, what? Like, Rihanna is not a rapper, first of all. And then I said, so you think just because Rihanna's black, that makes her a rapper? And then the full rage of this man, like, blew up. This cis white man, straight. He started yelling. It was like, don't you dare put words into my mouth. I did not say that. Blah, 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 blah. But, like, that's what you said. Those are racist beliefs. Like, you're harboring racist belief. Not all black people rap, you know? And, like, to see him be so defensive about me just questioning what he said was crazy. I was just like, wow, we live in different worlds. You clearly are not educated. And it was also crazy to think I was sitting next to two girls that I would call my best friend, and they didn't say anything. Like, I'm just like, you're not gonna call this person out? Like, we are, like, so old. We're 20 years old, and you can't call these people out? But Gabrielle Union made this really good tweet that I want to say. I've never met anyone who was worried about being called racist who didn't harbor racist beliefs. What racist people don't want is to face consequences for their racism. Fun fact, don't start none, won't be none. Don't want to be called a racist, don't do racist shit. Basically, she's saying, like, people that are defensive about things like that usually harbor racist beliefs, and they don't want to face the consequences of having their opinion be wrong. And that's, like, what I experienced right then and there. But whatever. That's just one thing, and I was definitely really annoyed about that situation. Still am annoyed about that situation. But you don't know how many people I've unfollowed this past week. There are so many people who are claiming they're allies but don't do shit in real life. Or there's so many people that aren't saying anything and just acting like it's their normal daily la-di-da life. And I'm just like, no, I don't need you people in my life. Cut. And I'm so grateful for the friends that I have because they let me talk to them about my struggles and make me feel heard, which I love. And they show up to protest with me. They make me feel, they check in on me and wondering how I'm doing, and I just really appreciate them. So love you guys. Shout out to you guys. But I definitely have like a bunch of screenshotted tweets that I wanted to talk about. Okay, this one is about, I'll just read it. The first step of getting free is admitting that you have a colonized mind. You have to accept that pretty much everything you've come to understand about the human experience was taught to you by a white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal frame of thinking, which is 100% true. Our education system, like, failed us. Like, they just did not teach us the truth. They hid the truth. And now we have to unlearn all that stuff that we were taught. Another one I wanted to talk about. Oh, this one is just also tying on to the other one is y'all need to remember that misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, anti-fatness, and whorephobia are all products of white supremacy, capitalism, and the patriarchy. We got a lot of work to do, is like what the tweet says, which is just so accurate. Like, maybe another video. But I think I already read that one. I'll just talk about this other thing. Me and my friends made posters with helpful information on them, and I kind of just wanted to read some of the things that we made, but I made it with my two friends, and we made these to pass out to our neighbors who are maybe only getting their information from the news, which is very one-sided news and not painting the picture of what reality is really is. But basically, first is we have just like a bunch of links of where you can donate or learn more. And then we have things you can watch and the movies that or TV shows that we put where 13th, When They See Us, Malcolm X, and then these 2 Netflix shows called Black AF or Dear White People. Really recommend watching those and getting educated a little more. Also, The Hate You Give is a really good movie that made me cry so much. So it's with Amanda Seinfeld, I think is her name, but she's a really good actress. And then we have a list of things you can read. And it was White Fragility, so you want to talk about race, can we talk about race, and Americana. And then we made like a list of ways you can reflect. And I'll just read those. In what ways does my white privilege benefit me, and how can I use this privilege to advocate for change and support the Black community? How can I make Black people feel more comfortable in their own city? Do I contribute to their discomfort? In what ways have I engaged in rhetoric that promotes stereotyping of Black people? How can I change this? And then we have simple things you can implement into your daily life to help this cause. And it is be actively anti-racist, meaning calling out your family members and friends. Listen to POC when they're sharing a personal experience or opinion. Make workplaces diverse and inclusive, educating people who are clearly confused or have misinformation. A lot of people out there are just not educated on the subject and think they are when they're really just not. And then we just listed a bunch of Black-owned businesses in Seattle, and I'll link all this stuff down below that you can talk about or you can look into. And then other things I want to talk about was like police brutality. Like, there's so many things we can talk about this, but we need to defund the police. We don't need them anymore. They're not helpful. They just continually are racist, kill people, and just escalate to violence every single time and abuse power. I am a psychology major, and if you're in psych or have even taken a psych class, you learn about the Stanford prison experiment, which was literally, they took college students and had them either be a prisoner or a prison guard, and they literally had to stop the experiment because the prison guards, it got to their house and they were like using excessive force, doing things that were not scripted, and these were college students. It proved that when you're in a place of authority, it gets to your head. It like makes you have a superiority complex, and like it's inevitable. They proved that everyone who is in that place of power, that will happen to them. And it just baffles me that no one takes that psychology experiment into consideration when we talk about the police. I mean, I bet they do. I just like, they're not really doing anything to change it. But okay, this is just a tweet I saw. It said 29 people were killed in the last 10 days by the, like, after all these protests, the police have killed 29 people just in, let alone these last days, when they've killed hundreds of Black people in the last years. And it's just like, I just want change. I don't think they're helpful. And some people are like, what can we do? Like, what can we do? Like, we need the police, blah, blah, blah. And then I found these things that, or someone retweeted it, and I thought it was really good. Okay. Some folks are sleeping on the benches in the park. Imagine a city employee comes and checks in to see if they are in a need to place to sleep, food, water, or healthcare. An hour later, those who want a different place to sleep have one. Okay, so it just cut out, but I'll just keep going. Isn't that public safety? And then the other one is, someone is behaving erratically and in harm's way. Imagine texting a number. An unarmed agent responder trained in behavioral and mental health comes within 5 minutes, and an hour later that person is safe and getting the support they need. Isn't that public safety? If the police are supposed to be the public safety, they need to be trained in social work, have backgrounds in what to do with someone who is in a manic disorder, because those people don't know how to de-escalate things. I saw a funny tweet that was like, Waffle House employees know how to de-escalate violence better than the police, which is true. Like, the police just escalate things every single time because of their fucking mindset. We don't need the police. And there's so many other things. The thing about the police too is they get the most funding. Like our military, our police, they get the most funding, and they're just killing people. That doesn't make sense to me. Another tweet I saw was, why do the people that murder people get funding? The funding should go to the people who don't murder people, which is just, yeah, you know? Another thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that Black women and trans people get left out of the conversation when we're talking about these things all the time. Like, if you look on the headlines of the news, they're always talking about, like, a Black man or something, but this happens to trans people, this happens to women, and they're just, we always get left out of the topic, and that's something that I want to see change in the world too. Yeah. Let her see some other things that I can talk about. Okay, this one is I might write this on my sign today for the protest I'm going to tonight. But advocacy means going beyond having conversation with people who already agree with you, which is just true. I obviously play into this sometimes too, but you need to educate people that aren't educated on the subject, right? Obviously you can have conversation with your friends that have the same beliefs as you, but like that doesn't really get you anywhere when you think about it. Another protest sign that I saw that I'll put right here, that was just funny, I sent it to my friends last night, but it's, whoever threw that tear gas, your mom's a hoe. Very funny, very funny. Oh, and then I also wanted to say, or these are just a list of things that people say that gaslight the racial experience. But racial gaslighting sounds like, if you protested / said it peacefully, maybe more people would listen. And what I said, what I did is not racist. Racism doesn't exist anymore. It was just a joke. Calm down. Blank, people are racist too. Why is it always about race? Just to play devil's advocate here. Or, are you sure that happened? And then last one is, in my opinion, I don't think they were being racist. I think blank. If you aren't a person of color, a Black person, you can never tell someone any of these things because you will never know what it feels like. You can't say that you have been discriminated against because of your race. You just can't say that. So maybe just sit back and listen. I don't know if I already said this, but it's a privilege to have a woman or to have a person of color tell you their experience and want to educate you. That's a privilege. They don't have to do that. I don't have to educate you. You can, guess what? Google's free. Google is free. Look it up. Educate yourself. But people don't want to do that. That's the thing. People are so fine with being in their complacent, la-di-da-di world. I'm tired of this world. I want to see change. But anything else I want to put in here? No. I don't know if I said this already. Yeah, it's kind of hard because I like filmed a whole video of this like on the other camera, but that bad boy is just not gonna work. But basically, if you've stayed silent through all of this, you are being complacent with the oppressor, or I don't know if that's the right word to say. You are siding with the oppressor if you've stayed silent this whole time. You are actively choosing not to talk about these things because of your privilege. And there's not much more I can say. But basically, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I guess I didn't talk about people saying all lives matter, but that's just because it's fucking stupid. I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, thank you for letting me spiel. Okay, so it's been a couple days since those last clips, but I just wanted to say that I am aware that I touch my nose a lot. Sorry. I'm gonna have to get used to seeing weird shit like that now. But a couple things I wanted to add is accountability. Like, just because you're posting online, that's great and everything, but like maybe think about the people who aren't posting right now and they're your friend and or partner, and maybe consider they don't have the same ideals or morals or accountability as you for stepping up and wanting change. And I just wanted to point that out because I don't know, on Twitter, I just see a lot of shit about people like cutting people out of their life right now because they're not doing the work. And I'm like, yeah, more people should be held accountable for staying silent. But okay, that's that. And then I wanted the section to be like a Black creatives like that I wanted to promote. And the first one is my aunt, and she's my mom's twin sister. And she has her own jewelry business, and she is all the jewelry that I wear because I don't like when like your skin turns green because of like the cheap metal you get. So I really like when she makes me jewelry. But recently she made me these ring clouds with an amethyst stone underneath, uncut, and they're just super cute. Really liking amethyst lately. And then she also made these other ones that are here, and they're just random. Sometimes they fall out when I sleep, but she also made this ring. It's the only ring I wear, but it's lavenderite, which is like my fave stone right now too. Sleep with that underneath my bed. And then another person that I want to promote is this girl that I found on TikTok/Twitter, and she makes like art pieces, custom pieces, makes prints, tarot cards, and other stuff. I ordered a piece for her, a custom one of incorporating my star signs, so my rising, my Scorpio and Gemini, my sidereal, and then she incorporates that with a mystical creature, and like I sent pictures of myself, so it's gonna like look like me kind of. But I'm really excited for that. It hasn't come yet. I was hoping to put it in this video, but I'll just put her Instagram right here because she's very talented. You guys should all check her out. And it was only like $20 for a custom piece, and I'm so down to support someone like that. And then my friend Kayali, my coworker in Portland, she has her own Etsy shop, and she sells like stickers and lighters that are super cute. And then my friend Asia, she has a YouTube channel too, and so I'll link her too, and she's super cute, and you're just like, you'd love to watch her vlogs. And then I also wanted to shout out my cousin because I'm really, really proud of her because she wrote this amazing piece the other day and put it on her Instagram, so I'll link her down below. But she's like a model, and she's like only 17, but she just wrote a really good piece, and it totally could be her college app, and I'm really proud of her for speaking her truth. But other things that I want to say, oh yeah, also watching those other videos, I realized that I'm really bad at pronouncing words, which is okay. Maybe I'll get better, maybe I won't. I don't know, but it's okay. Thank you.